Before we move on to Preguntas Difíciles, I do want to just squeeze in our boys at Atletico de Madrid got a massive win against our other boys at Sevilla. Props to Atletico de Madrid. Our boy Marcos Llorente got on the score sheet, then Alvaro Morata. Madrid doing absolute bits. But quickly, we just want to talk on Sevilla because now I've seen the reports and people are now saying that it's expected that Lopetegui is going to be sacked, especially after this kind of a result. Because again, it was not just that Atletico de Madrid, who maybe went in looking at as favorites, beat Sevilla in Sevilla, but it's how they lost. Again, looking so confused. And you look at the table, 1 point over the relegation zone. They're 1 point. It's worse than I had imagined, worse than we have imagined. And we've been talking about how bad Sevilla has looked all season. So Rodri, what are you hearing? Lopetegui out?
Yeah, it looks like in the following hours he will be out of Sevilla. This is something that we talked about in the previous shows, because I told you that Lopetegui is the main problem of Sevilla at this moment. I don't really understand why, in the way they ended the past 2 seasons, why Monti didn't sack Lopetegui before. And I know that this is going to hurt a little bit at Sevilla, because, you know, the club treat us really well always, and they are, for me, an example of how managed football in the last decade. But I don't know what happened in these two seasons, because this was something that we all already knew that was going to happen. So that's why, even this morning, another player from Sevilla, Regic, fell injured because of a muscle issue. Once again, the coach didn't work. The coach looks like he's out of the plot completely. And when you see in the pitch what happened against Atletico Madrid, you see that, there's no plan A, no plan B. And when you face Atletico Madrid or whoever team is playing against Sevilla this season, they know what Sevilla will do. So this is really easy for the rivals to win Sevilla. And when you have Atletico Madrid and you have back Jimenez, Savic, so you have Witsel playing in his natural position, you knew what was going to happen. So that's why this is kind of sad. They are now negotiating with Sampaoli to be back at Sevilla bench. Yeah, I don't know if
that was the name that we heard the most, Jorge Sampaoli, that he's still back home, I think in Argentina or something, but I'm sure he'll make it over to Andalusia as quick as possible if he gets the job. But what do people feel there, that he's the right man for the job? Because like I said, seeing Sevilla coming so close last season to flirting with at least, proper European spots, maybe even the title. It sounds crazy that we were thinking of this last season, and now look at where they are, above the relegation zone by 1 point. It's crazy to see Sevilla fall this low. So somebody needs to come in and steer that ship properly. So what does everyone feel, that Sampaoli definitely could be the man?
Could be. I mean, people are disappointed because this is a disaster, a massive disaster for Sevilla this season. And they know that any coach that can be back, in this case, Sampaoli, is going to be better option than Lopetegui. Because believe me, when you see Sevilla game, any Sevilla game, this is like, oh my God, you don't have the talent you used to have, but the same players are inside the pitch. So that's why something doesn't really work there. And I think, the Lopetegui exit must be something that has to happen now, right now, in order to Sampaoli to work before, as soon as possible, to try to fix this. Because if not, Sevilla is going to struggle even to compete in Europe by the end of the season. And this is something that could attend to financial problems by the end of this year. So that's why they need something to do, and that thing has to be done as soon as possible now.
Yeah, massively worrying times at Sevilla. We hope that they do manage to sort things out, because it is an interesting year, of course, with the World Cup, but that may give them a break to try and sort things out as well. But still,
and believe me, Alexis, when you are bad and you are in this situation, but the main rival, Betis, is doing that good, doesn't really help.
Doesn't help at all. I would know.
Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis, and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.